Oh my God, you guys, come and sit down and shut the door. Forget what you know about Diddy, Marc Agnifilo, his legal team, and that 140 hours of footage, okay? The story just changed. At least that's what the streets are saying. And the streets are saying it changed violently. Because that TMZ article everyone is buzzing about, the one talking about Diddy betraying his lawyer with secret recordings, the one warning that there may be 140 hours of taped conversations between Diddy and his lawyers, that wasn't a coincidence. It was a puzzle. And guess what? Now the other piece just clicked into place. Do you guys remember Anthony Ricco? If you don't, I'll tell you who he is. He quit last year. Not now. Not after the Netflix documentary. Not after the 50 Cent leaks. He left before any of this came public. And now everyone is realizing that the writing may have already been on the wall. Ricco was the first to run because he saw what was coming. And according to a new report, Marc Agnifilo, Brian Still, Nicole Westmoreland, Xavier Donaldson, Tinny Garagos, what's her name? What's her name? Shapiro. Is that her name? Anyway, they better pray to God nothing incriminating is on those tapes. Because if even one clip shows ABA violations, witness-related discussions, strategies that cross ethical lines, anything resembling obstruction or jury influence, their careers aren't just over. Baby, they are evidence. Tonight's investigative report pulls it all together, finally, in the correct timeline. Are y'all set? Let's get into this. Okay, so to understand the danger they might be facing, we need to understand how Anthony Ricco, or why Anthony Ricco quit last year. And when he did that, nobody understood why. Okay, so let's rewind. It's April 2024. While Diddy was pretending to be untouchable, and while the world was distracted by PR statements and Instagram optics, Diddy's federal defense attorney, a seasoned 40-year-old veteran in the Southern District of New York, filed to withdraw suddenly, without warning. And in that withdrawal, he wrote, "I cannot offer effective counsel under ABA professional standards." Now get this, nobody clocked it. And by nobody, I mean everybody but me, because side note, I said this last year, but y'all don't hear me. I mean, you hear me, but are you really listening though? Okay, I'll stop. All right. So besides me, nobody clocked it. Nobody understood how serious that sentence was. People thought, oh, Ricco is old. Ricco wasn't getting enough access. Diddy wouldn't let him sit on his lap, because you know Diddy okay, let's move on. Why did they think that? Because Diddy's camp immediately started to spin. Ricco was just emotional. He wanted to be closer to Diddy. He felt left out, which is insane. This man defended mafia bosses and terrorism defendants. He didn't quit because Diddy didn't hug him. He quit because something behind the scenes violated the ABA code, and he wasn't going down with the ship. It seems like now we may know exactly why. See, now we got to focus on the secret tape betrayal. Diddy's December article revealed Diddy secretly recorded one of his attorneys. Okay? Marc Agnifilo. Although it sounds like he had his whole legal team on the call, but Marc Agnifilo, there was something planted in the TMZ article. Marc was furious. TMZ article said he wasn't upset. He wasn't inconvenienced. He was furious because being recorded by your client without consent is a betrayal, a professional risk, and a confidentiality violation, a potential ethics crisis. And it exposes anything said during those crisis strategy calls. So now the question becomes, if he recorded Marc, who else did he record? Marc, again, Brian Still, Nicole Westmoreland, Xavier Donaldson, Anthony Ricco before he left? And here comes the bombshell. Because don't forget, the original videographer, not the freelancer, said he had been filming Diddy for 2 years. So Anthony Ricco was on that team when Diddy was filming and when they were strategizing. Let's not forget what Diddy got arrested for early, right? Witness tampering, obstruction of justice. Let's not forget why Diddy got denied bail 11 times. Okay, anyway, right? Here comes the bombshell. 50 Cent says he has 140 hours of audio and video, not 3 hours, not one meeting, 140 hours. Anthony Ricco left before this came out. To me, now the timeline is making sense. I don't think Anthony Ricco was confused. I don't think he was emotional. I don't think he was wanting closeness with Diddy. He saw something and he ran. Now, here's why people say that 140 hours might expose the lies. Diddy's camp keeps claiming there's only 3 days of footage. A freelancer filmed it. 3 days equals 72 hours total. But there are 140 hours being discussed. Mathematically, that's impossible, which means Diddy was recording much longer. Diddy was recording multiple people. Diddy was recording private strategy. Diddy was recording legal discussions. And Diddy was recording legal advice, strategy decisions, and maybe even crisis planning. This is why lawyers are panicking. Because if Diddy recorded them talking about, let's just say, witnesses, jurors, strategies that border on misconduct, emotional reactions, internal disagreements, anything that crosses ABA lines, it's over. Which leads me to this. My mind kept going back to when I first read that article, Anthony Ricco saying he cannot continue to serve him without violating ABA rules. And again, I know you guys are wondering, and if you're not, I'm going to tell you, what could violate ABA rules? Well, let's break this down with surgical precision. See, here's what could be on those recordings that would destroy, or could destroy, or will destroy, depending on who you talk to, a lawyer's career. 1, any witness-related conversations. If any lawyer is ever heard discussing witness intimidation, discussing obtaining witness addresses, discussing contacting witnesses improperly, and discussing strategies for silencing witnesses, baby, that is a one-way ticket to disbarment. Jury influence talk. Even joking about jury manipulation is a violation. If the tape shows we need sympathetic jurors, find out who's on the jury, push this narrative to influence jurors, that's automatic obstruction. If it shows hidden evidence or strategy to conceal. If a lawyer appears to assist in hiding documents, ignore damning evidence, strategize around misleading authorities, baby, that is felony level violations. And even something as small as lawyers talking out of turn. If they reveal their frustrations, their doubts, their private disagreements, internal strategy flaws, oh, baby, you know the public is going to love that. Because even the act of being secretly recorded is a no-no. This alone destroys attorney-client privilege, contaminates strategy, disqualifies lawyers, and makes them potential witnesses. Which may be why Ricco left in 2024. Maybe he saw the storm coming. Again, around that time, right? We were like, okay, we got the dream team. Enter in a new team. Marc Agnifilo, Brian Steele, Nicole Westmoreland, Xavier Donaldson. And this is the part. This is the part I told you earlier. So baby, let's get down to it. Marc, Brian, Nicole, Xavier. People are saying that they may be sick right now because they don't know what was recorded, when it was recorded, who was in the room, whether they said anything questionable, how many copies exist, who has the tapes, how much of it 50 Cent has, and how much of it Netflix has, and whether prosecutors have obtained copies. People are saying these lawyers may be now walking around like their phones are on fire. And in my opinion, they should be. Because if even 5 minutes of that 140 hours implicates any of them, all of them. Baby, they're not just lawyers. They're witnesses in a federal conspiracy. Baby, this is exactly why Diddy's spin backfired. Again, I remember the way they tried to clown Ricco. Diddy's team tried to clown Ricco when he left. They literally painted him as a groupie. And now that we see Diddy and we're familiar with his game, we can all roll our eyes. But back then, how humiliating for a seasoned lawyer to be talked about that in TMZ. They literally said, oh, he's just mad. He wanted access to Diddy. He wanted closeness to Diddy. He was so emotional. He was just mad he wasn't in the circle. No. Many people say that Anthony Ricco, maybe he was the only one smart enough to get off a sinking ship before it became a submarine. Because now, everything he hinted at, ABA violations, professional concerns, ethical boundaries, it's showing up in real time. Maybe Anthony Ricco was right, and now the world sees that. So again, let's go back to why people are saying everyone is running scared. Baby, listen, all I can say is this. Diddy's team better pray to God that nothing is on those tapes. Shows anything that looks like witness tampering, jury strategy, intimidation, baby, addresses, instructions, none of that. And this is exactly the point. While they're praying to God, I would think that they are scared. Because at the end of the day, they don't know what's on those tapes. They don't know. They don't know. That uncertainty is now the biggest bomb in Diddy's case. Because those recordings, baby, they're not evidence. Many people think they might be landmines. Ricco stepped off the battlefield last year. The others stayed. And they were dividing the spoils of war. And now, maybe they're realizing they won a battle, but the war is far from over. And now their licenses might be casualties. Maybe they might be on tape, saying something they can never take back, and a case they may no longer be able to defend. Baby, listen, what do y'all think? This is heating up. But again, this talk about this footage, something ain't adding up. 3 days does not add up to 140 hours. Regardless, Marc Agnifilo and the ilk have been very silent lately, except for a scathing article saying he was betrayed and screwed over by Diddy. Again, ain't it funny? Damn, you mad Diddy? Did a Diddy on you? Woo! Anyway, you guys, listen, let me know what you think in the comments. This story is developing. I'll let you know when I hear anything else. Also, like, subscribe, turn those comments on. I'll talk to you later. Bye.